Hi and welcome or welcome back. I am going to take you through my March TBR. I can't believe that it's almost March already. This year is going ridiculously quickly, but it is, and I have lots of books that I want to read. So this year I have been writing myself TBRs each month. I'm typically writing about 8 books because I seem to be currently reading about 9 books a month, which is fine. It's great. For a lot of people that would be a lot. For me it's less than what I was used to, but it's still a great number. So I'm adding around 8 books to my TBR each month to give me a bit of a guide. I have definitely been struggling a little more on the decisions of what to read, and so having that guide list there is very, very helpful. I have obviously been deviating it from it though, because I mean, what is the point of a TBR if not to ignore it at points? So when I was thinking this through yesterday, writing down my ideas, I thought I had my list of all my top priority books, and then today I got an email from NetGalley to say that I have been approved for Sweet Obsession by Katie Robert. So obviously, as soon as I finish my current book, possibly even sooner, we'll see, I will be dropping everything else to pick that up. So this is book 8 in the Dark Olympus series, which, if you aren't familiar with the series, is Greek mythology inspired dark romance. They're just such a great series. I'm really loving kind of the threads going through of how the city operates and just the world that all the characters live in. There's a lot of political intrigue, but more backstabbing, and obviously it's a very sexy time because it's Katie Robert, and an amazingly queer normative world as well. So this one is Poseidon and Icarus, which was very much set up at the end of the last book. And yeah, like I said, it's book 8. There's going to be 10 books in the series, so it's really getting to the point now where everything is building. So super excited to read that. And then what should normally be the first thing that I add to my TBR, and this is an old book from my shelves. So I am trying to reduce the age of my physical TBR, so I'm trying to read each month one of the books from the oldest months of books that I own. And this is actually one that I had on my TBR for this month, but I had been reading quite a bit of contemporary romance, so I swapped it for a different one. So that is One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I have had this book on several TBRs, and for some reason I never pick it up. I don't know why. I just don't. It's the one that Storygraph always nags me about as the book that has been on my to-read list for the longest that I own. So hopefully in March I will finally get to this. So this is a sapphic contemporary romance. I think there's some like time travel elements. I think it has something to do with being on the subway and one of them being stuck on the subway kind of forever, and the other one kind of bumping into them. That's kind of all I can think at this point. I know I have some friends on Instagram who this is like their favourite book, so I think maybe that's why I haven't read it. Maybe it's like the pressure, but hopefully this will be the month that I finally get to it. And then the next thing that I put on my TBR is the next Lexi Blake book in the series that I am reading. So I'm currently working my way through a contemporary series, the Nights in Bliss and Texas Sirens series. And the next one that I have to read is Up All Night in Bliss. Now this one is actually a like bonus material short. So my suspicion is that I am going to read another one as well. If I do, then that will also be Chasing Bliss, which I'll be honest, I haven't looked up what it's about, but I mean, most of the books in the series are MMF. They are on the border between contemporary romance and romantic suspense. I am about 7 books into the series now. Very, very much enjoying it. Loving having my little dose of bliss weirdness each month. And also just really happy with the progress and feeling like I'm really, really actually starting to make progress. Getting through a little small portion of Lexi Blake's massive backlist. And then my other priority that I have for the first half of the year is getting ready for RARE. So I'm going to RARE London at the start of July, and I have got a list of books that I want to read before then. So it was 20 books that I had to read from the start of 2025 until the day that I go to RARE. So this consists of any books that I picked up at RARE25 London that I have not yet read. I don't want to go with books that I picked up 2 events ago and read, because I want to enjoy buying books, not being like, oh, but I've still got all these ones at home from last time. And then the others are a couple of authors that I want to try, and then some series that I want to catch up on a bit for authors that I've previously read. So between the first 2 months, I've only read 2 books each month, which does leave me with 16 books to read in effectively 4 months. So I am putting 4 books on my TBR for this month. I did have more than 2 for February, I just didn't get to them. So the first book that I have put on there is Pursuing the Bear by Kerry Adrian. This is a paranormal romance series, back to my roots, and you can probably guess from the title and the cover, but this is a bear shifter romance. This is book 2 in a series. I have read book 1 in February and definitely enjoyed the vibes of it. This is set in a world where you have got bear shifters and lion shifters that are massively at war with each other, but also in a world where the humans don't know that shifters exist. So they're having this war while also trying to keep themselves hidden. And yeah, we've got some fated mates going on as well. So lots of good fun, and I will almost certainly pick this one up. The other series that I want to continue that I did actually have on my TBR for January, but again, didn't get to, is the Inferno Rising series by Abigail Owen. And I need to read book 3 next, which is The Warrior King. So I've got books 3 and 4 left to go. These ones are, again, fated mates, and they are dragons and phoenixes. I don't know if phoenixes is the plural of phoenix, but we'll go with it. Very much enjoyed the first 2 books in this series, and we got a bit of a glimpse in book 2 of the main characters for this one. So really, really looking forward to it. And again, Abigail Owen is an author that I met in London previously and is going to London again this year. Then I have got a new to me author that I desperately want to try before it gets to RARE. So I have got Trial of the Sun Queen by Nisha J. Tooley, and I have had this series on my radar for so long. It is ridiculous, and I've heard such amazing things about it. I can't believe I haven't picked it up. It is going to happen now, absolutely, definitely going to happen. This is a fantasy romance series, and I think there's some kind of contest going on. I mean, we've got trial in the name, so that's probably going to be indicative as well. I haven't actually looked up too much else more. I'm sure when I first kind of put this on my radar, I knew more, but that's where I'm at the moment. But I am super looking forward to this, and absolutely going to make sure that I do read it in the next couple of months. The last book that I have on my kind of ready for RARE list for March is House of Crimson Kisses by Ruby Rowe. I can't remember the name of this series for this. It's something like Kingdom of Immortal Lovers or something, but it's vampire fantasy romance. I read the first book, House of Crimson Hearts, I think it's called, like basically when it came out, and it had a cliffhanger ending. I don't like cliffhanger endings. I'm very, very impatient. So I decided, as it was a trilogy, I would wait to read the second book until the third book was out. However, I have then kept waiting because it sort of dropped off my priority list. But excitingly, Ruby Row is going to Rare this year. So this is obviously the push that I need to finish the trilogy. So I've got book 2 on my list for March. So yeah, these are sapphic vampire fantasy romance. So I have read the Girl Games series by Ruby Row, which is sort of set in the same world, but with very little crossover between the two series. And I absolutely loved that. And like I say, I very much enjoyed the first book in this one, so I just need to hold myself accountable and actually finish the trilogy. And as with a couple of the others for this is going to also work towards my reducing my number of series that I'm in the middle of goal. So excited for that too. So then just rounding off with a couple of ideas of other books that I might pick up. I am currently in the middle of Heart of the Sun Warrior, which is the sequel to Daughter of the Moon Goddess. So that's my current audio. I'm definitely not going to be finishing that in February, so that will be carrying over to March, but I'm almost certain that that is going to be finished there. I'm absolutely loving it. It is just beautiful, beautiful fantasy. And yeah, I loved the first book as well, so really excited to continue reading that. I'm just really slow with audio. Also on my radar as a couple of options for kind of continuing a series that I am partway through would be A Shadow Crown by Melissa Blair, which is book 2 of 4 in the Halfling saga. And so that's the kind of fantasy or fantasy romance, depending on how you define them, that I started a series earlier this year. And then the other one that I've kind of got on my radar maybe is Fighting for Control by JJ Arias, which is the second book of 3 in the Dominion series, which is sapphic contemporary romance. For both of those, very much enjoyed the first book. Obviously with Halfling Saga, it is a continued story across all the books, so there's going to be things kind of that came out of the last one. But yeah, excited for both of them at some point for different reasons. But who knows, like I say, I could end up picking up something completely different. As long as I cover most of those bases, I will be happy. As long as I've read something from my Ready for Rare list and I've continued some series. But as I say, I can absolutely guarantee that my first book of the month will be Sweet Obsession, because it's Katie Roberts, so how can I not? So there we go. Those are the books that I am planning to read in March. We'll obviously find out at the end of the month how many of them I did read. Let me know if you have read any of these, or also kind of what sort of things you're planning to read in March. And hopefully I will see you soon for a bumper wrap up of everything that I read in January and February this year. I will see you soon. Bye.